In our modern world of traffic congestion, busy schedules, and stress over money or relationships, many people are craving a bit of peace and relaxation, solitude, and reflection. It may seem difficult to achieve, but sometimes there's refuge right around the corner, literally.
A few years ago, I decided to create a Japanese garden for the city of Tucson. It's open to the public because I felt that the Japanese culture was such a beautiful thing that it was to be shared.
I heard about it going in a few years ago, being connected to the Japanese community in Tucson. And so when I finally made it over here, I was stunned at how beautiful it was. My wife and I lived in Japan, in Nagoya, for a year, and we loved the gardens and visited a lot. To have something like this on Alvernon was stunning.
Japanese gardens are very peaceful, and they're meant to be, in their own way, a healing gardens. I hope that people can come here and find peace.
The instrument I'm playing is called the Shakuhachi. It has a very long relationship to Zen Buddhism in Japan, and it's used not as a musical instrument generally, but as a meditation tool. Shakuhachi, the Japanese flute, it really fits this setting, and to play here is very different than playing in my living room or playing anywhere else. And so the fact that this is here helps the meditation of the instrument and helps my understanding of what it means. There's a relationship between this setting and certain states of mind, certain arts, which is why it's great to have this kind of a place.
This is a typical Japanese house that you will find in the countryside. It's not a tea house. It doesn't have the right elements. And anybody who comes to the garden can come in without shoes. They are made of clay and wood and paper. And you sit on tatamis, which is the old-fashioned. They always have an alcove, a flower arrangement, and an artwork. Today we're going to start with a single flower arrangement that I usually done for tea ceremony. You can just play with the colors of the leaves. One flower, that's fine. One leaf, that's fine. A different material. Flower arrangements are very similar to the structure of Japanese garden. You have a lot of elements in it that are very natural. You use branches and flowers, never just flowers, if you can help it. I teach the most ancient school that is 550 years old, that is called Ikenobo. And there's about 2,500 schools in Japan. I want this to be three-dimensional, not totally flat. So
it's very meditational. It's a creative outlet. You create beauty. It's a wonderful contribution to the community and awareness of the Japanese culture.
In the back somewhere.
So a little bit taller again.
A little taller, yes.
Patricia Deridder's connection to Japan and its culture has been developing for decades, taking root and intensifying over a lifetime. Deridder was born in Belgium and suffered from polio as a little girl. Her parents were relentlessly committed to Deridder and her brother, with frequent trips to the countryside to enjoy nature and to exercise. Deridder grew strong and independent, and by the time she was 18 years old, she was allowed to pursue a lifelong dream: moved to Japan by herself to learn the language and delve into the culture.
I knew from early on that I wanted to discover Japan, and I went there to study Japanese and stayed 15 years.
After moving to Wisconsin with her American husband and raising 2 children, she decided to explore her options in sunny Arizona.
When I moved, I had to recreate myself, basically, because I didn't have the jobs that I had up north. And my parents passed away, and I'm left me an estate, which I sold, and eventually I decided I was going to do what I always wanted to do my whole life, is to create a Japanese garden and a museum.
It is constant work and commitment, but Deridder is trying to persevere.
It took me about a year and a half to build it because there was nothing here. And we opened in 2013. 日本にいる。
いや、1ヶ月後ぐらい。
そう、3週間。
今月の終わりに。
Hidenabu Oki is attending Pima Community College temporarily, but he's originally from Japan. He was looking for something to do in his spare time and was amazed by this discovery.
Last August, I came here and I have no classes, so just boring every day. So I look for some volunteers through the internet, and I looked for Japanese garden here. So I came here.
It does seem surprising and unusual for some people. A Japanese garden in Arizona's Sonoran Desert established and run by a woman from Belgium. But it's all part of Deridder's transcontinental path, her journey, from Europe to Asia to North America, where she found a place to call home in a garden she desired.
Well, that's the story of my life. That's a summary of the life that I've had. It's really the summary of what I've lived for. Actually, the name of the garden is Dream in Japanese. Yume means dream. And I always had hope to share what I had learned. And I had a mentor when I was in Japan who said, at a certain age, you have to return what you have received. And it's my way of returning. And I was lucky to be able to do it.